some danger
I'm in danger.
because this is going to be problematic. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to have some opinions about this that will be probably an issue for some, but I'm going to stand on the rim. I'm going to take this risk. I'm going to walk you on this journey of the way I'm thinking. Because I already know this will be a problem. So there's this little short documentary, little 7-minute joint by a news agency or newspaper agency about the problems with transgender athletes. It says actually the story, eighth place. Eighth place. I guess that's the name of the little short documentary. Eighth place. A high school girl's life after transgender students joined her sport. A growing number of school administrators want to silence women and girls who dare speak about the transgender policies that are harming them, blah, 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 blah. So here's the thing. What is happening in New England? There is, I think it's a bill or something, whatever it is, transgender students, or however, they're allowed to play the sport that of the sex or gender that they identify as. So if you're biologically a male and you identify as a girl or a woman, you can play women's sports. So this particular girl in this story is track and field star, or she's a track and field athlete and does really well. Well, she talks about the story of like this trans woman. I don't know which way how to explain this. The girl that used to be a boy, or that identifies as a boy, joined her sport and knocked that shit out the park. And she was telling the story about how that same athlete did go over to compete with the boys and was average there, then came back to the girls and again blew them out the water. So stayed over there. So in her particular case, the reason it's called A place is because her particular placing, because there was two trans trans females who were 1 and 2, and they was taking the top 6. So she would have been 6 if it wasn't for them two being a part of the race who ended up blowing them out the water, the competition. And so the big of this is the biological girls feels it's unfair. They also talk about how males in general are faster, stronger than most women. So it's not fair that they get to come in as trans and compete against the biological girls and blow them out. Which made me think how true this is. Like, that is that fair? Is that fair? Because I recall, and I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna throw this out there again. It's not. I remember reading a story about a collegiate. I don't know if it was collegiate or high school wrestling. A trans girl was running through the female competition. She was running through them motherfuckers, and it was an issue. Like, yo, this is, I mean, as far as the parents, this is a dude. Because, and I'm sure it wasn't meant with disrespect, but it was like, look, my daughter is good at this sport, but she's getting ran through by this trans who is probably still carrying a lot of testosterone, a lot of strength, a lot of male strength in their body, and busting ass in wrestling. There was another story about an MMA fighter, a trans woman who beat the dog shit out of a biological woman in the ring, in the cage. And it makes you think like, yo, that is kind of unfair. There has to be some sort of stipulation there. Now, I got a buddy who was saying they should come up with like um a separate race type of thing or competitive place kind of thing for this, you know, do a DNA test or whatever you or biological. I mean, something like you could do something to mix these people up. And it's like, yo, to me, the dangerous part of that is, you know, segregation. That's going to be the civil rights, the human rights thing is like you should be able to compete by what you identify as. If I'm a girl, I get to compete with girls. I'm a guy, I compete with guys. Me,
I'm in danger.
I don't think they should be able to compete. I don't think they should be able to compete. It sounds fucked up, but the thing about it is like, yo, there has to be, you know, at no point, as we stand, as I record this, you know, you may be listening to this in the future, but as I record this, no trans person has a trajectory into any major sport currently, non-co-ed sport. So there will be no, as we stand, there's no female turned male who will be in the NBA or who's played in the NBA. There's also no male turned female competed in the WNBA. Same in football, same in MLB. And I'm talking about like, you know, starting one way, like, you know, in that high school farm system all the way up. There's none of that. Now, you know, I've seen some co-edness in, I think golf. I can't remember, because golf is a different kind of sport. It's a singular sport. I think the same courses is the same, no matter if it's men or women playing. But I don't know if the par has changed. That I don't know. And I know some will go Serena Williams. Serena Williams could probably beat a lot of men out there. But Serena Williams is an exception, not the rule. You know, how well does she do with another tennis player who has a lot of power behind that swing? Maybe really well. Who knows? But a big chunk of the women that she compete against probably would not fare that well. She's an exception, not the rule. And so where do you go? Like, so you get to compete and you get to ruin opportunities for some students who can't perform at a high level. Because when people look at the paperwork and go, okay, so-and-so girl, well, she came fifth place, didn't place, fifth place. You know, all these lower placings in these brackets because colleges want the best of the best that they hand these, you know, scholarships to, and they got a large talent pool to pick from. Now you look worse than the trans person. Now, granted, that trans person may not get an opportunity because they look at, you know, it's a recruiting thing, and the you know, it's like you can't prove racism. You can't prove that someone was discriminating against you because you're a trans person. You just know you didn't get accepted. You know, when it comes down to it. So I feel like until we can figure out something, they probably shouldn't be able to compete. Or I don't know if it's fair to say that there should be body reconstruction already done or displacement. I don't know what it's called, but maybe that has to be done first. Maybe there should be a true all the way commitment, and I don't know if that's fair for me to say or not. But there has to be something because there's a lot of testosterone still in that, you know, male going to a female area. Now, on the other side, I don't know how much success a female turned male has had competing with other males. That would be an interesting thing to kind of look at. But I'm going to go on a limb and say probably not a lot. Probably not a lot. I honestly don't know, you know, if you have subscribed to it, because I don't know too many super flamboyant gay people who are still athletic, who still get into the athletic game or not. Um, I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I do agree. I probably would lean towards, unless somebody can send me some. You want to send me some? Facebook.com/KindaFamousPod. I'm gonna put the story up there. I'm probably throw a poll or something up there, and we can get into it. We can talk about it, but I don't know what we do because it's problematic. It really is problematic for these young kids who are still in their formidable years. I personally don't agree with the whole idea of trans identity in those years. I know this is a problematic thing to say.
I'm in danger.
But I don't agree with that because you're still forming your thoughts and feelings and identity. And I don't know how, because I'm not gay. I'm not in the community. I only have friends in the community. I don't know how much different it is to say be gay. You know, I'm attracted to the opposite sex versus being trans, where I feel like a male and I'm attracted to the opposite sex despite being born a certain way. I don't even really know what the fuck gender fluid is, to keep it all the way a buck. And I think that's why we struggle with, I think I talked about this before, we struggle with gay issues still because there's so much identity politics that goes with it where we don't really know, like I'm a straight male. I know gay, I know lesbian, I'm understanding trans, bisexual, but after that things get a little muddy. Things get really muddy. Even my gay friends don't understand it. So if my gay friends don't understand some of these concepts, I got a friend right now who is gay. She is lesbian. Got with a lesbian girl. That lesbian girl is now going through a trans process. And I asked her before, so does that make you straight or lesbian at that point? Because they, you know what I mean? So it's a whole process of understanding, because I'm gonna know this person is lesbian, but then I'm gonna see a heterosexual relationship. These are the things we're still trying to figure out. So you can't really go at people and blame them for not understanding, for not getting it, especially when within the, like if you ask me about some black right shit, I'm gonna be able to explain it. I'm gonna be able to explain the position. I'm explaining the thought process behind some of this shit, because I've been black my whole goddamn life to this day. But the gay thing is, like, I don't even know if hold on.
I'm in danger.
I don't even know if I can say queer. Because at one point that was a problematic thing to say. I don't even know if I can say queer. I heard someone say queer on TV, and I was like, I guess. I guess. Is this? It was added to the letters. So there's some campaigning that needs to be done. And you can't go tell me to go research it. There needs to be a spokesperson to give us some real information of how to navigate through the LGBT rights and communities for the straight people. You know, LGBT for dummies. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe there needs to be Oh man, I thought I wasn't recording. But we're gonna transition. No pun intended. Hold on.
I'm in danger.
We're gonna